Hey everyone, it's Ernie from Fanboys and Blogs Reviews and more. Welcome back to another episode of Jukebox. We are back to the Coldplay ranking series after a short break. I think that's what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to take small breaks in the middle, maybe 2-3 videos between every Coldplay video, just so that we can have a break, Or else if I just do Coldplay, it's going to affect my viewership and everything. But I still want to finish this series because I think that my opinions on Coldplay have to be put out there as soon as possible. I really want to talk about number one, but we have to get there slowly. And I'm happy to say we're on the fourth. Number four, X and Y from 2005. It's their third studio album. This was like when they were still hadn't found their footing, but not. I mean, they had found their footing, but they still hadn't found their massive fan base. But I think this album is probably the reason why they're as big as they are right now, or at least the starting of the reason. And let me just say, now we get to great Coldplay music. I mean, until now, Coldplay was pretty good, but it was not this good. I mean, all the last three albums, I think they're class different from these next four albums because these are just phenomenal. And I think that's a bit weird. I mean, if you think, like I'm saying, that old Coldplay is better than new Coldplay, I'm not saying that, but I am kind of saying that because their old stuff is definitely better. But after Kaleidoscope EP, which I might talk about, I think that there's a new direction for Coldplay, and I think that if they make a new album, it will go back to this old style, which I really, really can't wait for. Let's get back to X and Y. This is one of the most controversial, divisive, and I'm gonna even say experimental albums from Coldplay. They had just come off of their greatest hit to date, A Rush of Blood to the Head, and this is their third highest sold album after Rush of Blood to the Head and Parachutes. So this album had a lot going for it, and let me just say that they did not disappoint with this album. The singles that came out were spectacular. Everybody loved them, and I have to say it's a great album. But to stress on that, let's go to the songs immediately. So at number one, I mean the first song, not number one, we're not ranking it in order. It's the order of how the songs play in the playlist. At number one, we have Square One. It has these amazing vocals, a simple instrumental yet very upbeat, and this great works on the drums. Okay, let me just say that this is a rock album. So a lot of this is very rock heavy as compared to most of their newer stuff, which is more pop. So let me just say from here on out, we're gonna get more rock. Or at least most of it is gonna be rock. Okay, so let's get back to focus. So Square One, I give it 3.5 out of 5. Next up, we have What If. It has these really calm and downplayed vocals, but they're still really good. It has these dark and haunting lyrics with beautiful instrumentals playing in the background. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Next, we have White Shadows with great lyrics, simple vocals, and a great instrumental. I mean, you can't really go wrong with this. This is like default X and Y material. So a lot of these are going to be calling them default X and Y material. Only if you can listen to these songs, you'll know what I'm talking about. I give it also a 4 out of 5. And next up, we have Fix You. If you haven't heard Fix You, stop this video, go and listen to Fix You, and then come back. This is my favorite song on the album, obviously, and I think it's my top 3 favorite Coldplay songs ever. If I ever get to a Coldplay ranking series of the songs, you might hear that. This song was made for Chris's wife after her father died. But I mean, it's incredibly sweet that he made this song for that, but I feel it had a way huger impact on the world. I mean, this is one of the most revolutionary songs to come out of Coldplay. It's what a lot of people love the band for. I mean, it's what got me into Coldplay. It's the first Coldplay song I ever heard, and instantly I was hooked. And it's the first song to ever make me cry. I think it was in 6th or 7th grade that I really understood the meaning of this song, and that really struck a chord with me somewhere. It has a really special place in my heart. And it was recently dubbed by, I think, some British music survey agency, some huge one, to be the song of the century, and I understand why. And it's pretty fascinating considering we are only 18 years into the century, and yet this has already become the song of the century. And I agree. I mean, I don't think many songs this century can top the level of emotion, the level of musical grandiose that this song brings. I think it's a really phenomenal song. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5, obviously. I mean, what do you expect? Next up, we have Talk. It's my third favorite song of the album, tied with another song which is coming up later. It has these beautiful motivational lyrics, and it's the most rock song on the album, and it's rock solid. It has this emotionally stirring feeling that a lot of these songs have. It's about like how you should do something new, something different every time, and it can apply to anyone. I think that's the real appeal of this album, that it can really make you feel things. Let me get back to that later. It has these beautiful vocals. I really enjoy the instrumental too. 4.5 out of 5. Next up is X and Y. It's the titular song of the album. It has these hypnotizing vocals with these dark and melancholy lyrics that parallel, their original stuff from Parachutes. It's really good, and I really recommend this song. It's a 4 out of 5. Next up, we have Speed of Sound. It was the first single released from the album, and apparently it made an impression on a lot of people. Of course, I was too young in 2005 to have been exposed to all of this. But yeah, I agree. I mean, if this was the first song I heard from the album, I would be really, really, really excited. It has these amazing lyrics with these beautiful piano-based instrumentals with great drums. The vocals are, of course, Chris Martin Gold. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. Next up is A Message. I mean, the song is called A Message. I'm not giving you a message. Beautiful guitar-based instrumental with the simple yet soothing lyrics, beautiful vocals. This is the default X and Y sound. I mean, this is where it comes back to. It's that sound that's consistent throughout the album. I get a 4 out of 5. Next up is Low. It's this great vocal effort, and it's a simple song. And again, it's a default X and Y song. It sounds the same as most of this album, and I think that could be a problem, but it's not, because this album sounds so great. If it was a terrible sounding album, then I would complain that it sounds a lot the same. I give it 3.5 out of 5, though it's not one of the best songs on the album. Next up is The Hardest Part. It has these amazing vocals, a basic instrumental, and the tune, the melody of the song is really great. I really enjoyed listening to it, and it's a bit uncomfortable at times, but I still really enjoy it. It's 4 out of 5. Number 11 is Swallowed in the Sea. Sad lyrics engulf this song. We're almost at the end of the album. Sad lyrics engulf the song, and we really get a darker look into Coldplay. But it's nowhere as dark as Midnight or the entirety of Ghost Stories, anyways. It's a great song with good instrumentals, good vocals, and good lyrics. Again, default X and Y, 4.25 out of 5. And finally, next we have Twisted Logic. This is extremely slow song. It shows a little bit of the experimental side of Coldplay, but it's still a solid song with great vocals. I give it 3.75 out of 5. And finally, we have Till Kingdom Come. It's my second favorite song on the album. It has this amazing guitar-based instrumental in the background with these beautiful vocals. I really, really, really like this song. But it's the lyrics that get me in the end. It's something that makes you feel good. If I ever get married, this is the song I want playing at my wedding. I think it's really beautiful. It says this nice message of love and hope, and I really like it. Give it a 4.75 out of 5. Now, one thing I want to say about the scores in this album in particular and here on out is I've had to add the 0.25 scores because they really make a difference here. And I think one thing that's showing the quality difference is that there's not been a single song on this album which I've given below 3.5, and it really says something compared to, I think one of the songs on Head Full of Dreams got a 1. Compare 1 and 3.5. Those are like miles apart, and I really, really think that's a testament to something. Okay, let's get to the average song score now. It's 4.135 out of 5, and my verdict is 4.25 out of 5. It's a pretty great album. This is where Coldplay finally firmly rooted themselves. It's a great rock effort. This album makes me feel a lot of emotions during the course of the album, which I really appreciate in an album, which I really think is unique. I really enjoy this album. Let's go to the playlist score, because that's where I usually end these videos. So here are the songs I have in my playlist now. Square One, White Shadows, What If, Fix You and Talk, obviously. X and Y, Speed of Sound, Swallowed in the Sea, The Hardest Part, Until Kingdom Come. That's 10 out of 13 songs, and that's why these are the top 4 and those aren't. It's these playlist scores, how many songs that I actually listen to and I keep coming back to in the album, which really makes the difference. That's of course 76.9, so consider that 77, consider compare that to the previous albums which you're getting in the 50s or 60s, and that's what shows you the difference. Thank you guys for listening. Next up we have a show called Jukebox Remix coming up, where I'm just going to be talking about 5 songs which I feel are important to discuss. Not new, just songs that I want to talk about. Some of them are new. We'll be touching on some Ariana Grande and stuff. And we also have Bookshelves, a new episode of Bookshelves coming up based on the latest Darren from Beacon book. Until then, you guys can check out my back catalog for my other Coldplay reviews. I made a recent Eminem rant, or this against Eminem unpopular opinion video. You guys can check that out too. Whatever suits you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.